Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. You are watching Man Talk here on KTN Home. I'm your host, Susan Jeroge, and I am very, very stoked for today's episode. We are shooting here at Jueke Tavern, just off Gong Road, right behind China Center. And they have a fantastic space for events if you want to meet up with your cousins, have a baby shower, have a bridal party. They have a playground if you want to come with your family over the weekends. Great food and absolutely fantastic drinks. So come through to Jueke Tavern, been so kind to us to give us this space. Now on Man Talk today, we are going to be discussing support. Let's go and find out from the gentleman. Ladies and gentlemen, as I mentioned earlier, I'm joined by three gentlemen today, three very dapper gentlemen. Everyone is looking very nice, very serious, ready to be on the show. I am your host, Susan Jeroge, once again, and what we're going to be discussing today is so interesting. What's even more interesting is I am the only person on this panel who has not written a book. So I'm feeling very challenged today. I think I have quite a lot to learn from these gentlemen. I'm going to start by introducing them, kicking off with the gentleman furthest from me, that is Mr. Boniface.
Yes.
So happy to have you here.
Thank you so much for having me.
He is a corporate trainer and an author, and I'm waiting for all the education to just lay on me.
Thank you so much.
Thank you for coming through to the show.
Thank you, totally appreciate the opportunity.
And we have George Simiu, who is no stranger to the show at all. He is a human resources manager, trainer, and also an author, as I mentioned earlier. Welcome back to Man Talk.
Yeah, thank you so much.
Tulikufurahisha last time, so Merudi.
Yeah, it was amazing.
Good. This is what I like to hear. I'm gathering Man Talk ambassadors. Yeah. And last and definitely not least, we have Douglas Angongo. Have I said it correctly?
Yes, Angogo.
Good, Angongo.
Yes.
I need to practice.
Please.
Practicing in the mirror.
Please.
Douglas is a relationship coach and he's also an author.
Right.
Thanks for coming through.
Thank you for having us.
Now, I'm the host on this show and we're talking about support today, and I feel like I'm supporting these men so we can make it to the end of this episode. But in relationships, sometimes support has to switch between both the partners, or if you're in a very traditional person, the responsibility can weigh mainly on the male. So we're going to be discussing ladies holding down your man, men who are comfortable being supported by their woman, and what exactly does that mean? Because there's so many layers to it. For starters, are any of you married?
I believe almost all of us.
Almost everybody. No, we have to confirm.
For myself, I am married. Yes.
For me, myself.
Yes.
So you're married, Douglas?
Yes, I'm married to
wonderful.
one beautiful lady called Jambi for the
Nice.
past 8 years.
Are you guys blessed with any children?
2.
Oh, yay.
Yeah.
So happy for you.
Thank you.
And you're married as well?
I am married. I'm a father of 3.
Aha.
I'm married to one Mary Ngonyo
Okay.
for the last 13 years.
13.
Yeah.
Amazing.
My marriage is a teenager, you know.
Yeah.
Wow.
It's a good time.
Yes, it is.
And George?
Not yet.
Not yet. On the
Yeah.
path.
Yeah.
I hope Man Talk is getting you closer, you know.
Yes.
I'm trying to attend some Man Talk weddings.
Very true on both sides.
So when we talk about support, you're a relationship coach, and I'm sure you've encountered so many changes amongst couples that have happened during this pandemic.
Yes.
Because some people got opportunities. It wasn't bad for everybody. Me, I keep seeing KDDs on the roads, and I'm wondering who are these with monies to buy new cars. But for other people, of course, there was loss of homes, losses of jobs, and it's been a really, really tough period. So would you say that you've experienced more of a switch with the couples that you talk to and the couples that you relate with, where the man maybe was mainly supporting and now it has switched where the lady has taken on more responsibility, or even vice versa?
It's true that there's a lot that has changed due to the pandemic, because what you thought is what makes you to be a man, probably like a job,
Right.
you lost it.
Yeah.
And if you're married, if you're talking to the married people, is support is needed in all ways. There's no one direct way that when you get married, then you become the breadwinner,
Yeah.
and the wife become the subordinate.
Right.
In a marriage setup, there must be what you call accountability to one another, whereby all of you are able to support one another in whichever way. And support does not necessarily mean support in terms of finances. It can even be emotional support. and it is needed by both sides, and there's no one who is immune to support.
Yeah.
So both men and women need support
Yeah.
in terms of relationships, and if anyone feel like they don't need support, then they become weak. Yeah, so support keeps you strong, and when you get support from your wife, behind every, let me say, in every lady, in every woman, there's a tone of help that a man must know how to break up and get it from the wife, because they're supposed to be our helpers.
Yes.
Yes.
I like that you've said you actually have to break it down and understand this woman to get her to help. It's not automatic.
Yeah, yeah.
Sure.
I mean, for Adam and Eve, yes, God gave Eve and said, this is your helper. But for the rest of us, hakukuwa na assignment tunaambia huyu ni wako, no huyu ni wako, you didn't know.
Yeah. It is you to break it down
Yeah.
and really get that help that you need from this person.
Nice.
But she has a tone of help. That's why
Yeah.
she became a helper.
Right.
Yeah.
I like that. Now, I want to talk to you, George.
Yeah,
I don't
please.
know if you saw Fred Omanyala, the man
athlete.
that is sprinting. He's an athlete, Kenyan athlete representing us.
Sure.
Getting closer and closer to Bolt's time. I'm here for you, Omanyala. I'm cheering. Now, he came out after all the success that he's had when he landed back in Kenya, and he was talking about how his girlfriend has held him down over the last year, particularly the last 6 months, because there wasn't opportunities in either career or even for him as an athlete. And he says she paid the rent and she did all of that to hold him down. He just literally used to wake up and go train. She took care of everything else in the house because he didn't have any opportunity to make money. But his training paid off. 6 months of training, and now we're seeing the results. So I want to ask you, in your dating experience and even with your friends when you're with them, are you seeing like that's a common trend, or do you think Omanyala's girlfriend is like an exception? Like we should all find out which village she's from, because that's where good girlfriends are coming
The
from.
tribe.
Yeah. You know?
Well, I'm not really that it is a trend, because people are going through different experiences depending on the nature of their relationship. So I think Omanyala's cases are just a special case.
Right.
But still, we must appreciate that people are helping each other, depending with the kind of a person that is there.
Yeah, 100%. That's true.
100%.
You guys have been married for longer. Boniface, would you say that there was a period in your life where you were like Omanyala, where you guys switched and your wife was the one holding it down, or you switched back? What's that experience like when you're actually in the marriage? Unajua kuna hii tunasema alafu kwa ground. Yes.
You know, interestingly, I've actually had several of those. First and foremost, when I got married, my wife was actually earning more than me.
Oh, nice.
So in terms of the practical provision of the family, she was chipping in more than I was.
Right.
And it was both a stretching and a humbling experience, because when somebody is supporting you, if you're not careful, your insecurities begin to speak to you. Then probably when there's a point of disagreement, you think, you know, you're hurting me because you're the one bringing the bacon and the pig home, you know. So, but I also realized, like Douglas has so rightly said, there's a ton of help that is available for a man in a woman. And it is for the man to create the environment, and there is an environment that you must create for a woman to feel comfortable helping you without sissifying you. Because the challenge with the narrative of men being helped by women is that if we are not careful, we can push it to a place where now the men take their wives or their girlfriends to be like their mothers, and that's not the ideal. So even when the man is being helped, there has to be initiative, there has to be practical effort being engaged for him to actually raise up the bar and also be able to do something significant for the family. So yes, I've had those seasons where my wife has really supported me. And part of why a woman supports you is because you honor her. There is no woman that will freely support you if you're continually bashing her, dishonoring her, making her feel like she's a sub, you know, she's less than who you are, you know. I usually say in a marriage, people are equal, but they are different. The man is not necessarily superior to the woman. They are just different. And when we appreciate the differences, now we are able to synergize. And not only in financial issues, there are areas where I look at and see, by the way, my wife is better gifted than me in this area. I'll give you a very practical example. I'm not very good with holidays, you know, like going out, I'm not good, those are not my thing. So for me, when the family needs a space to go and, you know, unwind, I actually I tap into her leadership gift in that area and allow her to lead. And that doesn't mean I'm accepting that I'm a weak man. It means I'm accepting that she's stronger in leading in that area. And so marriage now becomes not just the man leading, but the man and the woman leading together, helping each other to build the vision of the home together. And I think that's really what makes our relationship to work.
I like that. Plus, you're going to end up with a great holiday.
Yeah, definitely.
You know,
But
that's the result at the end of the
They'll
day.
go to my mahi.
The details.
They'll go to my mahio. You won't book for the children.
Yes,
Utapata
yes.
hakuna chakula ya watoto. Sijui bedrooms zimepangwa aje.
Yes. So primarily is creating an environment.
Right.
And you create an environment by honoring your woman. And part of that honoring is actually being exclusive in that relationship. Part of why a lot of men are not helped is because when you are doing well, you had these 10 women around you. Now when you begin going down is when you're saying, now this is my woman. Now you begin
one woman around you now.
you are a one-man woman because you're in crisis. And I think what happens, there's an interesting movie I saw where the guy, you know, had been mistreating the lady and then he got crippled in an accident. And what happened one time, the woman actually came and the guy was on a wheelchair next to a swimming pool, just pushed the guy over.
Into the swimming pool.
And it's because he was reaping a harvest of what he had been sowing. So for a man to be helped, a woman only takes what you've been giving her, incubates it, multiplies it back to you.
Yes,
So if you've been
heard
treating
that
her
before.
well, then if you're in a challenging season, then she'll take all the goodwill you've been investing in her
And give
she'll
back.
multiply it back to you. But if you've been doing the opposite, then you've created a reason for you not to be helped. So men can be helped, they should be helped, but they must create an enabling environment for that to happen.
I like actually what you said in that, because there are some men who will be listening to this show and might still struggle with that idea. But I want to say, if you are the one creating the environment for your wife to help you, you're still the alpha.
Yeah.
You're still
You're
the
still
one
leader.
leading, because
You're
you
still the
are
leader.
seeing the situation as is and making the best decision for your family. And sometimes the best decision is, I shouldn't be in charge of this, you should be in charge. And when you're taking charge to decide that, then you're being the head of your family. It's so interesting. Thank you so much for sharing with us you and your wife's personal example.
Yes.
George, you're in human resources.
Sure.
And we're seeing interesting trends happening, not just due to the pandemic, something very similar to what he's talking about, which is women are now starting to earn more. And they're starting to be very income oriented. So even if she has a job and her check, her salary is small, you'll find she has a side hustle and she has something else that she does on the weekends. She has something else that she does online. So maybe her take home is a much bigger chunk. Now, there's a conversation I've seen on articles where HR are asking themselves, is there more motivation in women? And does it mean that men lacking somewhere? Or do you think men just need to pull up their socks?
Well, it depends with the opportunities this lady that come the way of this lady. So sometimes ladies, some of them are a bit lucky.
Yeah.
And good opportunities come their way than men. So that does not really mean that men are not working.
Yeah.
Or they are not easy to go out and look for these opportunities. So in different cases, if an opportunity comes her way to make her a bit more better in terms of income, then she'll be there to support.
Yeah.
But again, if also a man gets in that space, we thank God for the same.
Yeah. 100%.
But still, men should not just stop and just say, okay, now she's doing something. You also have to push away to do something better.
Yeah.
So I still feel it depends with the opportunities that comes in our way. But that does not really mean that he should be the big person in that space.
True.
There are those who are earning more, but they are wise women.
Yeah.
They are wise women, you know.
Yeah.
They know how to make the man be the man. So I think the moment you lose that one, also you on the wrong track.
Yeah.
So regardless of how much you're earning, remember you should be wise enough to really understand your man.
Yes.
And also look at this man as somebody who you're trying to build up, because it's with your hands that will determine where this man will land. And also be patient with him. Why is he not earning more today? Could it because he hasn't gotten an opportunity? Or because he's lazy?
Yeah.
So you really need to understand that. If you see him being a bit lazy, also with your wisdom, see how you can go about it and make him see the big picture of also going his way out.
Yeah.
But if the circumstances bring it that this man is not getting more, and you are the person who's getting it, then see how you can balance it.
Yeah.
So that you don't hurt his ego. Because if you really really push him beyond, then he's up trouble.
Yeah, he'll leave. But
Yes.
there's no trouble. Men leave. They're
Yes.
just like, I'm
Yes.
out.
So be very
Can't do
careful.
this
You're earning
anymore.
more,
Yeah.
but don't forget that you're the woman.
Yeah.
You are like now what Boniface and Douglas shared. Don't forget that you are like the two legs we have. Yeah, for you to move forward, sometimes you have to, you know,
one
this is
in
the
front of
stronghold.
the
This
other,
one,
yeah.
put one, put another. So you're working with the man.
Yeah,
You're working with
yeah.
him.
I like
Yeah.
that. You've mentioned two things that I hear a lot actually even on this show and even in my own relationship with my boyfriend, which is understanding.
Understand your man.
Men just say, I just need to be understood, girl. I
That
don't
is
need you
it.
to love me. I mean, the love and the respect will be within the understanding. And you've also talked about, you know, watching your man's ego. Now, as ladies who are supporting their man or may end up in that situation, Douglas, Boniface talked about creating the right environment. If you're the one who needs the support as the man, how would you advise men, or how do you usually advise men to best approach the subject? Because there are men who maybe are looking at their finances right now and they're like, hey, and then maybe even there's a business deal that's going awry. They can see in the future things are not going to work out. How do you sit down your wife and have that conversation with her and let her know you're going to have to pull a little bit more weight? We're going to have to maybe reduce our standards of living. How do you advise a man with his ego, with his manliness,
Yeah.
to sit down his wife or his girlfriend and communicate that?
I believe the best person that you need to be vulnerable to as a husband is your wife.
Yeah.
So if you can't find that safe place to talk to your wife, then you must be talking to someone else.
Oh.
Yeah. So the nakedness that we get in the Bible, that the two became naked, it means you must be safe talking to your wife about your problems and your struggles.
Yeah.
And the wife should feel, should really feel trusting what you're saying because of the friendship that you have. One thing that keeps your marriage is not about what you people are bringing on the table, but the friendship between the two of you.
So the ladies who are sat down and told them start saying, hey, so you are telling me we are finished.
Yes.
That's not the right
That's not
approach.
the right thing. Because you see, this man, for him to talk to you,
Yeah.
he must feel safe in that environment, first of all.
True.
Because sometimes the men who fear probably seeking for this help, it's because of the world the society maybe portray about men. That or a man should not ask for maybe this, a man should provide.
Yeah.
So there's that stereotype whereby this man feels like if I'm going to ask it for my wife, then I don't feel really secure. But now that's what I'm saying, the wife must understand his man, basing on the transparency they've been able to have.
Yeah.
So even if I come to that, do you know what, babe, our spending must be cut because I think this is not working, this is not working.
Yeah.
If we have been transparent financially, I don't even need to come and maybe sit in a conference room with you discussing about us cutting our spending.
Because your wife will already have an
the
idea.
transparency already is there.
True.
And it's just for us to now see how do you go about this. So first of all is this man who needs help. The first thing you need to look at himself is, has he been transparent to his wife? Because I can't go and seek help if probably I'm only you're going to try to know my bank account balance.
Yeah.
Because now things are bad.
Right.
But when things have been okay, like Boniface was saying,
Never asked
the
him.
other women know my
Know your
bank
account.
account balances than me.
Right.
When
so-
even your wife.
And even my
Even your
yeah.
wife.
So the safetyness of me seeking help from you as a man should come from me first. I should understand how have I been treating my wife.
Yeah.
And that's why if I'll ask you for help and I've been so all over with my girls, with my big bank balances, then I'm gonna come to you and say that, really? I usually don't have money?
Yeah.
You're lying to me.
Yeah. No, I'll just tell you, go and get from those ones
go
who
and
are
get from
with.
those ladies. Yeah.
Yeah.
So transparency matters a lot, and that's why don't wait for maybe pandemics or situations like this, so that you can now come closer to your wife. In all times, that's what he's talking about. In both times, in good and bad times, let your wife be your best friend.
So there's men who are probably watching this show and have never wanted to have that transparency with their wife, from beliefs, maybe from even how they saw their dad doing
Yeah.
things, from how they grew up, or even past relationship experiences where you had a woman who cleared your account or went and spent ridiculously. So they don't have that transparency. Even on my show, Vibes Radio, when we talk about relationship and finances, and our audiences is reasonably young, career
That is, yeah.
people who are just starting out their careers, they're always like, I cannot tell my girlfriend how much I earn. She cannot know the exact number. Ataanza kunipangia, you know, pesa yangu. Ataanza kupanga zile vitu anafanya. Kama monthly birthday yake anajua, now he's going to give me for photo shoot. So what would you say to those people who already aren't transparent, already have trust issues, and now they're listening to you and they're thinking, okay, maybe I want to open up. How do you change?
But you see, one thing that happens is this, and I think my fellow men will understand. If you really trust this person with your body, if she's going to be your wife, maybe you're dating, or this person is your wife and your husband, if you can trust this person, I remember one of the things that our bishop will say that this person will sleep with him on the bed at night. There's a time maybe you sleep and he's not sleeping. He can do anything to you.
That's true. Facts.
You are really snoring and this guy is
Your mouth open, you're in your deepest dreams.
Can I do this? But so you've trusted this person with yourself.
Yeah, completely.
So what is that thing that you can't trust this person with? Yeah. So the question is, if you're not going to be transparent with this person because of your past experiences, one thing is you should separate your past experiences and hearts with the person that you're having right now. Those two are two different people.
Right.
So the best thing you can do is, I don't know how to tell this person who is struggling to trust the wife or saying that I cannot give my girlfriend money or maybe be transparent, is the bank accounts are just temporary things.
Yeah.
Why are you coming in when now the bank account is now empty?
Yeah.
So if you can't trust when it is full, then even don't come when it is empty.
It's empty.
Yeah, so ask yourself, am I going to be rich forever? What if tables turn and then she's the one who
Tables always turn.
She's the one who has a bigger check.
Yeah.
She'll also do the same to me.
Very true.
So I'm planting what I'm going to get from her.
Yes.
So just put this coin on the same side. It can come back to you.
Right. Yes. And now there's the other coin, which George had referenced. The woman being the one who's earning more or supporting you in whichever way it is. So it can be maybe she's the one who had land when you guys got married. Maybe it was inherited. Or she's the one who already had a home. Or maybe she's supporting you in the sense of emotional support. Maybe you're going through a really trying time or you're grieving, whatever it is, or your family is going through a tough time. They're always in the house. She's supporting you and always providing a good environment. But there's the other coin, which we hear from men a lot, of now because she's supporting me, ni yeye ndo anasema. Na anashindanga amekasirika na mimi. You know, I can't do anything wrong. If I breathe loudly, she's like, what are you doing here? Why are you in my space? You know? So, Boniface, how should men navigate such situations? Is it that you should automatically leave such a woman, if that is the environment you're in, get out and run now while you can? Or is there a way that you can communicate to this person and you can get some change?
That's an interesting question you asked, because it's a question that I myself have struggled with at some points in my life.
Yeah.
But I realize no matter how much a woman earns, she always wants a man that leads. The problem is sometimes when men are provided for or they're supported, they slump into passivity. But when you slump into passivity, you lose the moral authority to have a voice in that relationship. Now, there are two things that determine how a woman responds to your leadership. Number one, it's not even the money you earn. It is the vision you have as a man. Where are you going? Do you show me that we are going somewhere? That if I trust you with this money, I am sure it's not going to be wasted on trivialities, but it is actually going to be used to build this family to a better place. So a woman is always looking for vision. And the reason why women are told to submit, they're not told to submit to gender. Gender is a very inferior thing to submit to. You submit to vision. So that means even when a man doesn't have a job, he shouldn't tone down his visionariness because of lack of a job. It is that vision that will inspire the woman to follow. And one of the things that I did, and when I realized that, for example, I was earning less, I was feeling a little bit intimidated. Sometimes itoshi. Madam, you know, leo kuna vile.
Sasa tuliongea last week Tuesday, sasa leo tena namuuliza yule.
And what liberates a man from inferiority is vision. So men must calibrate their vision even when they're in a pit. The problem is that most men get into a pit and then they throw their vision, now they want to be mummied around. And that's a very dangerous thing. Because a lot of what has happened is our ladies have bought into a raw script of supporting a man, and they have reduced it and sissified the man more. because you don't expect a man to step up to manhood when you treat him like a boy. You know, you have to treat him like a man. Make certain demands on him. He may not be able to provide, but there are certain things he can show leadership in. He can show spiritual leadership. He can show leadership in planning. He can show leadership in making certain decisions that move things forward. So number one is that a woman submits to vision. She doesn't submit to gender. And if you're not showing visionary leadership in the relationship, she will lose incentive of following you. The second thing that a woman submits to is wisdom. In other words, you have to school yourself to be able to earn the right for your wife to listen to you. One of the things that a woman
so men need
like,
to be out here educating
wise.
themselves.
Men need to be developing
Some
themselves.
men think wisdom is just in them because they're men.
No. Wisdom is not natural. It is not
doesn't come by
genetic.
It's not
You have to
genetic
seek
either.
it.
It is
not
acquired
gender.
intentionally.
Right.
And so when you acquire wisdom and
Yeah.
you school yourself into even simple things as understanding what kind of leadership does a woman respond to. And one of the things that men need to understand is that a woman responds to honor. When you show her honor, when you treat her with dignity, you show her that you are a leader.
Yeah.
But when you begin to respond out of insecurity and think, you know, the reason why I'm being treated this way is because I'm not earning,
then
if you allow the voice of insecurity to be louder than the voice of wisdom, then you begin to bash the very person who is supposed to help you come out of that pit.
Wow.
So in as much as a man may lose a job or lose a business, he must never lose his vision. He must never lose his passion for wisdom, because his vision and wisdom are working in the heart of a man. Then he has an authority that compels a woman to want to follow, not to be intimidated to follow.
Yeah, but you know, you'll want to, you'll be excited, and you'll be honored.
Yes.
I think Boniface has so much more wisdom to drop on us, but I want us to take a tiny short break. Let's pay some bills, and then when we come back on the other side, we are going to continue talking about support. May it be financial, physical, or emotional, in relationships or in marriages, right here on Man Talk. See you after the break. Welcome back from the break. If you are just tuning in here on KTN Home, this is Man Talk. Yes, it's hosted by a lady. Get over it already. But I am joined by three incredible gentlemen, Boniface, George, and Douglas. And all three of them are authors, so they are dropping all of the wisdom today. And just before we took the break, we were having a conversation with Boniface, who was talking about how men should deal with when the woman is fully supporting you, especially financially, because we know that's the one that can be very, very, very touchy. And you were talking about how a man who has vision and a man who has wisdom will have a wife or a girlfriend or fiance who will happily follow you, and you'll still go on with the plans that you have for the family. Now, vision. You're a corporate trainer, so I want you to get into it. It is not normal for everybody to know their vision. Some people are very passionate. Some people know exactly what they want for their career and for their life. But for other people, it changes, or you figure it out as you go along. Now, how do you help men who maybe can't afford life coach services, maybe can't afford a corporate trainer, but want to be able to figure out, how do I get my vision? How do I draw the line of what do I want to decide for my life?
Fantastic question. I'll say two things that I think are important. One of the ways to learn vision is to hang around visionaries, and they are always around us. You cannot learn how to be a giant if your constant companions are dwarfs.
Yes.
So you've got to put yourself in spaces, look for men that look like they are figuring out where they are going or have figured out, and put yourself in those spaces. One of the things that I tell men, one of the worst decisions you can make as a man is to have your peers as your most dominant companions. Most often than not, your peers don't have vision because they don't have the benefit of the experience of having journeyed and seen the potholes and the peaks and the pitfalls that are there. You need men that are ahead of you that can cast a shadow of how the journey has been so that you can be able to avoid those pitfalls. So number one is to just put yourself around visionaries. Put yourself around men that are going somewhere, men that have discipline, men that have responsibility, men that have initiative. If you hang around lazy men, you cannot be a diligent man. So your circle determines the clarity of vision you begin to develop. One of the things that happened is that when I was in high school, a very young boy, I think about 16 years old, I met one guy that was called Joseph Obonda. He was about 15 years older than me.
Okay.
So I just started hanging around him, and just that being in his presence began to hone my vision as a man. I began to see what being a man looks like, what running a marriage looks like, what being a father looks like. So one of the best ways to develop vision is to hang around visionary people. The other way to get vision is to sit down and I call it possibilizing the future.
Okay.
Sit down and learn solitude. You cannot get vision in an environment of noise. You must learn the principle of quietness. And when a man lives in the middle of noise, he loses the ability to see the future. He sees crisis more than he sees possibilities. So
this is why men usually like having a man cave, if you can, in the house, or a quiet place. Some men I've noticed they wash their cars in the morning, like where I live. They wash their own self, anaosha anapanguza anatoa mat, and then after that anaketi karibu na gari sasa. And yet as it dries. It's very interesting. Those are the moments of solitude. So we should let the men be.
Yes, and that's why, and this is an important nugget for the ladies. When a man tells you, I'm not in the mood of having that conversation, what he's telling you is that I need time to process it so that I respond to this matter from a place of responsibility, not reaction. But if you push him and demand a reaction there and
now,
then,
an answer right now,
then you bring out the beast in the man, because every man has a beast side and a best side. So the only way to bring out the best side is to allow him time to process. And of course, I'm not talking about unnecessarily, you know, allowing a man to procrastinate on decisions he needs to make. But I'm saying allow him that space where he can develop, he can respond from a place of clarity. So I would encourage men, hang around visionaries, develop a discipline of solitude. Have about 30 minutes every day where you think about what do you want your day to look like. Have a day in a month. How do you want that month to look like? Have a week in the year. How do you want that year to look like? And sometimes you will not figure out everything in an instant. Vision is progressive. It's not a download that comes at once. It is something that becomes clear the way you go. You know the way, if you've driven in Limuru, you'll actually realize if your lights are on, the more you move, the more you get clarity to move. So vision does not
because the fog is usually just
it's just here. So it is in that moving, and the clarity comes as you make steps. So if a man is passive, he will never be visionary. He has to put himself in a space where he begins with the little knowledge he has, and then the light will become more and more. It's like when the sun comes out. The sun doesn't come out and, you know, suddenly you know, is a progressive emergence. So even for men, when you hang around visionaries, when you develop solitude, then your vision will begin to just shape up as you move on in your journey as a man.
I like what you said. George, do you think women should do the same? Do you think men are more attracted to women who also have an idea of what's going on in their life? Or women should look for the men who are having those personal meetings with themselves and follow those visions?
Yeah, sure. I think also women are attracted to guys who know what they're doing.
100%.
Someone who is so visionary, someone who knows the direction. Because when you say the man is leading you somewhere, where is he leading you to?
Where are we going?
Where are we going?
It's very true.
So you become more attractive, then you become somebody who has focus on where you're going. So I think it's very important. But again, ladies, you know, they're just saying, okay, I'm really looking for that man, as you put it. Who is no, some of them, they're lost. Some of them are depressed.
Some of them don't know. You need to be careful.
So, but at least let the lady also know what she's looking for. So when she's see somebody, she can actually identify that this is a guy I think can take me somewhere. It's very important. It's very important.
Now, I have some cards here, and I want us to play a little game.
Okay.
But before we play that game, there's something we haven't talked about. Are there scenarios where the support can be too much? It can be overbearing, or it can be the wrong thing to do at the time. So in relationships, we've talked about financial support, which is a very big one. There's emotional support. If somebody, like I mentioned, if somebody's grieving, or there's emotional support that men sometimes need to give their wives. As you guys may know, when someone is a new mother, somebody has just given birth, there's so much that happens in the hospital with the new baby, a whole new schedule to life. And because the woman bears the physical responsibility, there's that emotional support that men give to their wives. And then there's even physical support, right? So if somebody maybe is unable or disabled, or even it's just the cooking, the packing, helping somebody have their lunch, you know, if somebody has a car issue, you know, just those small little physical support things that we do. But are there things a woman can do where it's like, no, that's too far. Please let the man do this, and the man can be the man? Let me ask you, Douglas.
All right. Thank you for that question. You really said it well that there's a lot of support that couples need.
Yeah.
Not necessarily only a man, but both a wife and a woman, and the husband, and even the girlfriend or the boyfriend. And one thing I've said is, like I was trying to imagine that most of the people who probably are watching us, I think that the support that a man needs or that a woman needs in a family is financial support.
Right.
But I think even just supporting this man's vision is one thing that this man needs from you. You might not have the money to give, but if you're able to support, like Wolfa said, this man's vision, that the fight that he has, and help him see beyond the fog, then I think it gives this man more strength than even giving finances.
Right.
And like probably even for the ladies, sometimes really men think that the ladies need money from us, but they just need us to be around them. That's the greatest support. This lady is cooking in the kitchen and you be there, just trying to appreciate what she's doing. Even if you're going to cut the onions in the wrong way, but she sees the support of being around her when she
men like cutting the onions with the skin.
Yeah.
Kila kitu inaekwa ndani.
Sometimes me I'll cut them and they don't even come out well.
Right.
When my wife cut them, they're like, are we
It looks like symmetry, like she was a protractor.
So those support, the support that really is needed in a family or in a relationship is more than the presence. Multiple things that probably the monetary things.
Yeah.
So even as we talk about this, let's put it in a perspective, but it is more than the giving that is needed.
Right.
But just even being around, supporting this person's vision, or even this lady's vision, make this person feel in a safe space.
Yeah, it's important, especially for young people, because when you're young in Kenya, you're both not earning that much, ideally, and sometimes as women, you can think he's just supposed to give me money and make my life comfortable. But if you're stressed or you're just needing companionship and company, that's support in its own way.
It makes you feel safe.
Yeah.
Because one thing that makes men go out, like you said, men can live, is when they find the environment not safe for them. And one of the hurting things that men go through, as being in ministry, is when the person that you feel should be out, number one, cheer person, or probably give support, doesn't give support. So, as we look at Omanya,
yes,
and we're looking at him, he's got support from the rest. He's not really an exceptional.
Right.
There are many men who have been supported, but now they're not coming out because we are really magnifying on the financial support.
Yes.
But like, it's always said that behind every successful man, there's a hardworking woman.
Yes.
There's something that works behind it.
Yeah.
And on your question about support being too much, I don't think there's always an influx of support
a measure,
beyond what I needed.
Right.
What we call probably too much support is over maybe when we give support with a wrong perspective. Maybe doing it probably to fulfill my own needs to this person.
Right, you're not doing it for them.
I'm not doing it for them, but I'm doing it either to buy their love, I'm doing it probably to earn their love, to earn their trust. Or probably I'm doing it because I want to cage him. You see, sometimes we may give support this man, try to see that when I do this to him, he won't go out. So the motive behind the support, I can make it to the excess or not excess.
That's true, because a man will always know if you're doing something so he can stay home that night. He'll pick it up. He'll be very aware.
And from there, he'll be like, I don't need your support because this is not intentionally, it is conditional.
Yes.
So there's no more excess, but the way we do it can either make it to be really a wrong thing for us, and this is too much for me because it is not really fulfilling the need of us. For one person's need.
Nice. Well, I want us to bring out the cards now.
But again, just before that,
Yes,
I wanted
please
to mention
add.
these. It's always good to help when the man asks for that help. Sometimes, if I haven't asked for the help, then it may not come out well because I'll be asking myself, you do feel I cannot manage it myself.
Right.
So sometimes it's always good to wait. Then he'll tell you, I think I need your help here. then come in.
Yeah, because
Sometime you overstep.
dominant
Yeah.
personalities are in both genders. So as a woman, you can just decide, I'm seeing this is a challenge,
Yeah.
this is a problem. Let me fill out this car.
You-
Let me do
yes.
this. Let me, and then it's like,
You think he's not seeing it, but I
Right.
think he's just taking his time. He knows that it should happen.
Yeah.
So sometimes wise enough to wait for this guy to express an intention
That
of
he
you
actually
stepping in.
needs.
And see how to approach it. Really not be a direct support. Like
Yeah.
if the man has not asked for it, find a way of supporting it whereby the man will not feel like you have noticed something that he did want to be doing. So if like I remember when I didn't have a job after I got married.
Yeah.
I think for almost 2 years. And my wife was working.
Right.
So what she will do is when there's time to pay rent, she will not bring money and say now there's rent here for you to pay.
Right.
Of course she knows I don't have money, and I need to pay rent. So what she'll do is she'll just leave the ATM somewhere that I'm able to get the ATM.
Yeah.
It's a wise woman.
Yeah.
So remember to
something.
pay rent,
Yeah.
and I've left the ATM there.
Yeah.
So it means when I'm going to the ATM, I'll pick what I need to pay from the ATM.
Yes,
pay it. But when
yes.
she's, and I can even take probably, she's trying to see that I'm able to pay rent, and probably she knows I don't have maybe my socks or something I want to buy.
Yeah, yeah.
So I'm the one who will probably maybe add something on top of that. But
Yes.
she won't give me rent directly, it's like, I mean,
Yes,
Yeah.
that's
so it
true.
becomes like, she only giving me rent and then she goes back. Yeah, so just find a way.
I like that. Did you guys ever have a conversation about that, or it was like wisdom in her reading you and knowing you?
She just read from her own script.
Right.
Because I think it's good to understand your man.
Yeah, I was just going to ask you, did you feel understood? Like, you're like, this babe
Yeah.
gets me.
Yeah.
Everything is
You
smooth.
need to understand your man so that you understand when he's hurting and when he's okay. Because if you really understand your spouse, then you don't even need to
To be
look
told.
for
Yeah,
signs.
sure.
Yeah.
It just become automatic.
Yeah, and what you need to ask, you know, you just need to ask outright and you're going to get an answer like that.
And let me just also mention something that I think is also good to give perspective to this whole conversation. Sometimes when you're being helped as a man, don't forfeit your leadership and load every weight on your woman.
Yeah.
Because there's a weight a man is designed to carry that a woman isn't designed to carry.
Interesting.
A woman is not designed to be loaded with every family responsibility. So even in your downside, you must use that season to strategize, to offload your lady. Because the way to love a woman is not to load her, is to lead her. And the way to lead her is to keep finding ways to build capacity to carry more weight so that she doesn't, so that now if you've lost a job, you don't say, now my wife will be taking care of rent for the next 10 years.
Yes.
You must strategize so that in the next 2-3 years, you are back on your feet, you've recovered the king in you, and you are able to earn the respect of the queen. Otherwise, if the queen keeps seeing you with a Prince Ben 10 mentality, you will lose respect in that family. So even in down seasons, she may carry that load, but not for long. You must strategize to get up on your feet and be able to offload her so that she's able to enjoy being under your leadership. There is no day followers should carry long loads in the long term for leaders, while the leaders just cruise around and have it easy.
Kenyan leaders, that one was for you specifically. Let's just step out of the relationship realm for a bit.
That's a bit tricky, maybe just to add.
Yeah.
Kids are around.
Yes.
Yes.
Or a bit old enough.
Yes.
They can understand, they'll
and
hear.
they're just seeing you in the house, and they're like, that you're not going to work.
Yeah.
So that's why, as you're being helped,
Yeah.
are you helping yourself?
Yes,
Are you doing
yes,
something?
yes.
Or you're in the comfort zone.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
the worst person can never be a
Yeah, because I saw a
Right.
lady who actually went through that experience,
Yeah.
had a small baby, and would go out to hustle with the baby on her back, and the guy is just seated in the house. Then when she comes, she gives the money to that. So it creates a parasitic mentality. And you see,
Yes.
a relationship must be, there has to be reciprocity. So that now, if she's bringing money back there, she's able to see, okay, there is something the man is also doing to raise the standard of the family. But you
Yeah.
can't have a beggar mentality
Yeah.
and then claim that you're being dishonored when you're being told to step up. So
It's
I would just
true.
actually challenge men to actually say, yes, there are seasons that are difficult and you need to be supported, but don't go to sleep because you're being supported.
Yeah.
You have to be awake to the fact that responsibility begins and stops with you. And if you have to be in the kitchen, you have to take take the hit.
Yeah.
Yeah, and
It's
that's what
very,
being a
very
man is
true.
all
Not
about.
be helped in all ways.
Yeah.
If it's financial, somebody's taking over.
Yes.
Yeah, you're doing
Yeah.
something.
You
like
have to
that
do
lady,
something, yeah.
If the man could be meeting her
Yes,
at the stage,
yes, yes,
then at
yes,
least
yes.
he takes, because maybe he can't
Yes,
breastfeed the
yes,
baby,
yes,
so he can't be
yes,
with the baby all
yes.
day. But meet her at the stage and carry the baby.
Or carry the
meet
baby
her
for-
at work and
Yeah,
carry the
yeah.
baby and
So
let her
there
be
has to
relaxed. And
be
when
a-
she enters the
yeah,
house,
yeah.
see ati sasa anaanza kuoga nini.
Yes,
Even that,
yes.
me, that idea of I'm working and I'm doing everything, and
Yeah.
then I hand over
Yeah.
the money and it's you to decide everything, and you've
Yeah.
not been contributing
Yeah,
at
yeah,
all.
yeah.
Yeah.
And it's a slave mentality, and there's nothing as difficult as following a lazy man. A lazy man is actually a curse to a relationship setup.
Yeah.
So the man has to show that I am not only being supported, but I'm also stepping up so that I can build capacity emotionally, spiritually, financially, and in every way to earn the right to lead. Because the right to lead is not given, it is earned.
Yes.
And you earn it by showing I am stepping up higher into responsibility. So as you're being
Yes.
helped, don't use it as an excuse for irresponsibility and
Right.
passivity.
I like
That's
that. I like that
dangerous,
a lot.
yeah.
And by the way, I can just speak now as a woman. If you're following a lazy man, you're always looking.
Yeah,
You know,
yeah.
lazy men don't even walk fast.
Yes,
so
yes, yes.
you're just looking for your other options, whether there's any fast
Yeah.
walking man
Yeah,
around.
yeah,
But
yeah.
thank you so much,
Yeah,
guys. This
yeah.
has been an incredible conversation, but I can't let you go. I need you guys to give your details, where people can get your books,
Yeah.
and where they can also get your services. So, Douglas, you're a relationship coach and you're also an author. Tell the people where they can find you.
All right. Thank you for this session. And
It was
thank you for
amazing.
those who are watching us. You can find me through my email, that is mwangacenter.org, or just maybe contact me through 0710-754439. Then you can engage on any issue that you have and probably even get the books.
Nice. Say the number again, just
The
so
number
the camera.
is 0710-754439. We can engage even on counseling sessions. We have a premarital counseling session that we're having starting next month. And yes, you can learn together.
Awesome.
Yep.
Thank you so much, George. Where can people find you and get your book?
Amazing. Thank you so much for hosting me again here. You know, today I was seated among married men.
Yeah, you've learned. I hope you've been learning some tips. You've
be
been
taking
taking some
notes.
tips. Yeah.
Amazing. So again, to find me just on social media is the same name, George Smiu. You can send me an email at dr.mhwana@gmail.com. Then you're able to engage from there. God bless you.
Thank you.
Yeah.
And Mr. Boniface.
I'm on Boniface Nyoike Nganga. That's my Facebook profile. Twitter, Boniface_Nganga. There is phone number 0723 562 587.
Nice.
You can get me on all those platforms. My books are available. You just DM me. We'll organize to get the book to you.
I like it. And one thing to note is 2 of the married men on our panel today have both shared experiences where their wives supported them, and vice versa, because tables always turn and you never really know. And like Omanyala said, he was very excited after he won, because he said, now I'm going to take care of everything for this lady, because you know she held me down when things were really, really tough. So thank you for coming through, guys. Do message them, reach out to them, be proper, okay? Follow COVID-19 rules as you should. And Man Talk will be back next week at the same time, same place. We didn't get a chance to play with our cards, but we will integrate them into the next episode. I think this one was just too good. It was just too interesting.
Yeah.
So we'll postpone the game into the next episode. But I've been very happy to have you. Follow us at KTN Home everywhere, and you can follow me at Sura_Common on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. See you guys next week.